Hi guys, thank you all for tuning into Big Mama Story Time. Story Time! Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment to my page. Here we go. Hi guys, thank you all for tuning into Big Mama Story Time on today. Today I will be reading to you guys a Disney's Follow Your Nose Donald. All right guys, let's get into this. "What's the matter, boys?" Donald Duck asked his nephews Huey, Dewey, and Louie as they walked in the front door. "Was your Junior Woodchuck meeting canceled?" "No, but our camping trip is," said Huey. "Assistant Junior Woodchuck leader Dippy Drake fell off a ladder and broke his leg. Now he can't go," said Dewey. "And we can't either," added Huey. "We need 2 grown-ups and we have only 1. "Well, Donald, look like you finna be going on this trip." "Cheer up, boys," said Donald. "Look no further." "Huh?" said Huey. "You are 3 of the luckiest ducks ever to go camping. I'm going along with you." "Gee, Uncle Donald," said Dewey. "I don't know." "What's the matter?" said Donald. "Don't you remember the time I went camping alone in the woods and chased a bear away from my tent? With my camping experience, you boys won't have to worry about a thing." A couple of days later, Donald was at the campsite trying to find his way out of a tent that had collapsed on top of him. "Nothing to it, boys," Donald said. "You just stick with your Uncle Donald. I'll show you how the real camper puts up a tent." "Uncle Donald must have had a different kind of tent that time with the bear," whispered Huey. "Yes," said Dewey. "The kind you don't have to put up." "'Cause what in the world, Donald?" It didn't take long for Chuck, the Junior Woodchuck leader, to realize that Donald didn't know much about putting up a tent. He had to think of something quickly. "Say, Donald," Chuck said, "why don't you show your nephews how to blaze a trail? Take them on a hike while the rest of us get the campfire going." "Okay, now you finna have them, you literally get them lost. But okay. "That's a great idea," said Donald. "I could really show these boys a thing or two." "Here," said Chuck, tossing Donald a compass. "This might come in handy in case you get lost." "Me? Get lost?" said Donald. "It'll never happen." It's finna happen, y'all. I can feel it. Soon, Donald and the boys set out through the woods. I like the way those pine needles smell," said Huey. "And I like how soft they feel to walk on," said Dewey. "I like to crunch the pine cones," said Louie. All of them got their own little thing. They walked on until they came to a little hill covered with wild blueberry bushes. "Wow! Let's pick some, Uncle Donald," said Huey. "Stop," said Donald. "They look poisonous." Dewey pulled out his Junior Woodchuck guide. "Nah," he said. "They're wild berries. They're good to eat. It says so in my guide." "Oh, phooey! I knew that," said Donald, stuffing the berry into his mouth. "You sure? But okay." Huey, Dewey, and Louie scrambled up the hill and down the other side. Donald followed. Soon they heard a strange noise. "That sounds like rain," Donald said. "It's a waterfall," said Huey. "I bet it's just beyond those trees." "Nah," said Donald. "That can't be a waterfall." They went to look. Sure enough, it was a waterfall. "What did I tell you, boys?" said Donald. "I always know a waterfall when I hear one." Hold on, Donald. When you the one said it wasn't a waterfall? Okay. The hikers walked upstream until they came to a grassy meadow. There they found Clarabelle Cow and Horace Horsecollar just finishing a picnic. "How about some cherry pie?" Clarabelle called. "Maybe just a tiny piece," said Donald, licking his lips. They're in the middle of the woods. After thanking Clarabelle, Donald and the boys continued their hike, following a narrow, rocky path. "Look," said Huey, pointing. "The shape on that rock looks just like Uncle Donald." Good thing he's too far ahead to notice. The hikers climbed higher. Soon the sun began to sink low in the sky, and the air started to feel cooler. "Maybe we should start back," said Huey. "Start back?" echoed Donald. "You're exactly right. I was just going to say that myself." But Donald wasn't sure which way to go. "Try the compass, Uncle Donald," suggested Dewey. Donald stared dizzily at the little round dial in his hand, wondering which way pointed back to camp. "Ah, boys," he asked, "do you remember which way we want to go? We were supposed to check when we started outside, Huey. Now we'll just have to use our 5 senses." "5 senses?" Donald repeated, puzzled. "Yes," said Huey. "We'll use our eyes to see, our ears to hear, our noses to smell, our skin to touch, and maybe even our tongues to taste our way back to camp." Interesting. Huey, Dewey, and Louie took the lead. They headed down a rocky path. "Uncle Donald," cried Louie, "here's that rock that looks like you. We passed it on the way up." "Whack," said surprised Donald. "That means we're on the right path," said Dewey. "And we used our eyes to help us remember. That's our sense of sight," said Huey. "True. That's how I find my directions. I look for landmarks, things that's memorable in my ride to get back to my destination." Soon, Donald and his nephews came to a meadow. "I think this is where we saw Clarabelle and Horace," said Louie. "Nah," said Donald. "Clarabelle and Horace were on the other side of the forest." "But here's their pie tin," shouted Louie. "Are you sure it's the same pie?" asked Donald. "It sure tastes the same," said Louie, Dewey, and Huey, as they each took a bite. "We're on the right track. We're using our senses of taste to stay there." "That's right, boys. Just keep following me," said Donald as he chased after them. Hopefully he'll give them their props later. With Huey in the lead, the hikers trudged on. Suddenly, Huey came to a halt. The others were caught short and bumped into one another. "Do you hear what I hear?" Huey asked. "It sounds like rain," said Donald. "And do you remember what sounded like rain before?" Huey continued. "The waterfall," Dewey and Louie chimed in. "That's right," said Huey. "We're still on the right path, and we're using our ears to stay there." "I know that," said Donald. By now, night had fallen. Even though the moon was up, it was still very dark. Donald and his nephews took their flashlights from their backpacks to light the way. Crickets chirped and katydids buzzed. "I don't remember these noises," said Donald. "We must be going the wrong way." "No, it's nightfall, Donald, that's why." "No," said Dewey. "The crickets and katydids make noises only at night." "Look," cried Huey. "There's a blueberry bush, the one we tasted on the way up," cried Louie. "You right about it, Louie. Y'all did. Good eye." The hikers continued walking through the forest, smelling the great pine smells, feeling the needles beneath their feet, and crunching pine cones. "We must be going the right way," said Donald. "I remember passing all these piney things." "Yeah, but they're everywhere in these woods," said Huey. "We need better clues." "Wait!" Donald suddenly cried. "I smell something. It's wood smoke coming from the campfire." "Way to go, Uncle Donald!" the boys shouted. "Just follow your nose and we'll be out of here in no time." "Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy," said Donald. Donald like, "Get me out of here now." Donald followed his nose as the smell of wood smoke grew stronger. Finally, he and the boys walked right out of the forest and onto Grandma Duck's farm. "Hello, boys," shouted Grandma. "What are you doing around these parts?" The hikers were too surprised to say a word. They just let Grandma Duck lead them into her house. After they had washed up, Donald, Huey, Dewey, and Louie were invited to stay for supper. The steaming hot food smelled and tasted wonderful. Delicious! And all the while, the warmth of the fire felt good to their chilly bodies. Okay, but what about the other people that was on the hike with y'all? Where they at? Finally, feeling full and rested, the hikers paddled into Grandma's pickup truck. "How can you find a way to camp in this darkness?" asked Donald. "Well," said Grandma, "I do have a good sense of direction." "Is that one of the 5 senses?" asked Donald. "No, it's more like a 6th sense," Grandma answered, "and it seems to have skipped your generation." Dang, Grandma. "But it also helps to have a map and a compass and to know where you're going in the first place." That's true. Grandma's pickup arrived at camp just as Chuck and the rest of the Junior Woodchucks were about to go looking for Donald and his nephews. Exactly, I was wondering because y'all been gone for a long time. "Where have you been?" asked Chuck. "How come you got to ride back with Grandma Duck?" "Because they lost their way. They got lost, Donald." "Well, boys," Donald said the next morning, "what do you think of your Uncle Donald now? Let's just say we're glad that you learned to follow your nose," said Huey, "and that it led to Grandma Duck," added Dewey. Everyone, including Donald, laughed. "Just one other thing, Uncle Donald," said Huey. "I think before we go hiking again, you should learn to use a compass." "And," said Louie, "it would be a good idea to use all of your 5 senses, not just follow your nose." "Right." You gonna get lost and stay lost, Donald. All right, guys. That was a good one. All right, guys. That was Disney's Follow Your Nose, Donald. All right, guys. Thank you all for tuning in to Big Mama Storytime. I hope you like that book. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to my page if you haven't done so already. All right, guys. Bye.